Hello and welcome to this new video on the lifeline. And as you can see, the lifeline is this line, the one that is covering the bottom corner of the hand. And today we are going to talk about the origin of this line. In order to find the origin, we have to be able to locate the mounts. So we have Jupiter here, and we have Mars negative here. And the line has to start right at the boundary between Jupiter and Mars negative. And this way, it gets a combination of both energies. So here we have a great example of a line starting right where it's supposed to go. So it shows, because of Jupiter, it shows a direction. You know, Jupiter is the one that shows a direction, a sense of purpose, a healthy ambition, and the desire to do something with your life. And because it has the energy of Mars negative, Mars is actually energy, so it gives you energy to support your purpose, and it does so with optimism. Sometimes the line starts really high on the hand, and the origin is on Jupiter, as you can see on the picture. So when it starts on Jupiter, it makes the line straighter. Instead of being round, it actually becomes straighter. So right away, we know that the person is going to be more rigid and wanted to do their own thing. On another level, because there is too much Jupiter, the person is very passionate about achieving their goals, which is actually a good thing, but sometimes there is a little bit too much ambition, and the person can be consumed with getting what he wants. And when we have a line that starts in Jupiter, we forget to include others, and depending on the other features of the hand, of course, we can be maybe a little bit sensitive or domineering, or even it can go to bullying. Again, depending on how the rest of the hand is. So now we are going to see the origin from Mars negative. So in this case, the origin is going to be much lower on the hand, and it's going to be away from the light. And there is not enough of the optimism of Jupiter, because it's too much into Mars negative. Now, Mars negative is the location of the fight and flight response. So without Jupiter, we have actually this response, fight or flight. So we tend to be always on our guard, fearful, looking for safety, and we tend to retreat into our shells and to blame others. And that's why it's not very good to have a low origin of the lifeline. Now we are going to see some combinations of the life and the head origin. So the lifeline is this one, and the headline is this one. So the best is to have a little gap in between the two, because it gives a relaxed, nice attitude, and we are generally objective. Now, sometimes between the two lines there is a very wide gap, as you can see on the picture, and it gives us a very independent attitude. So we are full of ideas, of course, because there is a lot of this Jupiter influence. We don't want to be stopped. So we are enthusiastic, and we have a tendency to command rather than suggest. So we have to learn to take others into account. Now, sometimes the origin, the two lines are merged. They are together, and they only separate later on. So when we have a merged origin like that, we tend to be very sensitive and we take others into account. So it's actually a sign of wisdom, but it can also show a strong family influence. And at the time where the lines actually separate, this is when we feel a sense of freedom. Now, what happens a lot of the time, especially when the lines are very close together, they tend to be intertwined. So there are lots of different little branches together. And this represents problems in childhood. A lot of the time, those problems disappear later on, but it's still something to take into consideration. So in conclusion, the best line to have is the one that is right in the middle between Jupiter and Mars negative, with a little gap in between. But remember, even if yours is not like that, your lines can always change. If you change your attitude, your lines will change. See you in the next video.